there. Oh, I'm the book lady. I'm really glad you came by today because I brought two books that, I don't know, I think they're kind of interesting, and I think you learn something from it. And they have good illustrations. Remember what illustrations is? It's the grown-up word for pictures. Here are the books we're going to read today. Mama's Work Shoes. What could that be about? And it's by Caron Levis. It's good. It's a cute book, and I think some of you will really relate to it. The other is, of course, one of my favorite places, Library Days. Yes. And so I think we're going to start with Mama's Work Shoes. And as you can see, I brought some of my shoes. We'll talk about that. All right. You know how I tell you I love those cover pages? Look at all the different shoes. You probably have a couple of pair of shoes. All right, here we go. Mama's Work Shoes. Perry knew all of Mama's shoes. Let's see, the swish, swish shoes were for yawning and stretching and reading and drawing and cooking. I think they were slippers. The zip, zip shoes were for running and jumping, skipping, swinging, and fixing. Those are like her sneakers or her gym shoes. Flip-flop shoes were for sunny times. You know what those are, the flip-flops. Stomp, stomp shoes were for snowflake times. And pat, pat shoes were for puddle times. No shoes were for bath time, bedtime, and tickle time. Lots of people like to be in the no shoe time. I know that. But one morning, Mama put on a pair of shoes Perry had never heard before. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Perry liked the sound of Mama's new shoes, but she wondered what they were for. Click, clack. Mama made lunch right after breakfast. Click, clack. Mama packed one lunch into a big floppy brown bag. She packed the other lunch into a little polka dot bag. Click, clack. Mama put on her jacket. She helped Perry put on her jacket and her zip, zip shoes, her sneakers. Today, we are starting the new routine. When we're finished reading, I will explain to you about a routine. New? Perry wondered if it would be shiny slide new or itchy new shirt. All kinds of new. Mama and Perry walked down the block to Nan's house. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Perry knew about Nan's house. Nan's house was Perry calling, knock, knock, and Nan singing, cuckoo clock. Nan's house was the squeak, squeak door. Nan's house was just socks, swish, 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 and slide on the shiny floor. But today, Mama's click-clack shoes stayed on. Today, you will get to stay and play at Nan's place while I go to my workplace. Then I will knock, knock, cuckoo clock, and we'll go home together, just like we talked about, remember? Perry did not remember. Mama squeezed Perry in an extra long hug. She smoothed Perry's already brushed hair and wiped her already clean face. Mama's smile looked wiggly. What's a wiggly smile? Perry's tummy felt wiggly too. Then Mama gave Perry a big kiss. And I love you, Perry Berry. And click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, she went out the door. Perry did not like this at all. She stomped, she kicked, she cried, Mama! Perry slumped and stared, frowned, and glared at the squeak, squeak door. She didn't move when Nan said, "She'll be back." She didn't move when Nan tickled her neck. She didn't move when Nan did the shimmy, shugga, shake, shake dance. Well, she smiled and giggled. Then Perry shimmy, shugga, shake, shake too. Perry and Nan played all day. Then, knock, knock, Mama was back. Perry sang cuckoo clock, and she and Mama went home. But the clack-clack shoes came home with them. They would take Mama to work again tomorrow. So at dinner time, Perry made things go away, too. Split, splat. Oh, look at her dumping her food. Ooh, she'd be in trouble at my house. At story time, every time Mama got to the end of the book, Perry said, again, again, again. And when Mama said good night, Perry wouldn't let go. The next day, Perry knew what she had to do. She had hid those click-clack shoes. She hid all the shoes, just in case. But Mama found them. I like that picture with all the shoes hiding behind the sofa. No! No go-away shoes! Oh, Perry Berry. In the morning, these are my go-to-work shoes. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. But in the afternoon, they turn into my hurry home to you shoes. Watch. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Mama walked right back to Perry. Run! Mama, run! So Mama showed Perry how she could run home. Click, clack, click, clack, fast. More fast, said Perry. Mama ran as fast as she could. Clickety-clack, 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 faster! Until Perry laughed, Mama swooped, and they collapsed into cuddles. No matter what shoes are on my feet, I will always come back to my Perry Berry. On work days, my job is to hurry home to you, and your job is to have a squishy squeeze hug waiting for me, okay? So Perry practiced. More squeeze, please, said Mama. More, more, more. Now, in the morning, Perry helps Mama put on her hurry home to you shoes. She picks out swishy dance with Nan socks. They walk to Nan's house together. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Zip, zip, zip. Perry's tummy still wiggles when Mama hugs her goodbye. And Mama's smile wiggles too. But they both know at the end of the day, Perry's arms will wait wide open for Mama, who will be running back, click, 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 fast. So Perry and Mama's feet can meet, tickle, 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 together. And still look at all those shoes under the sofa. I think that is a funny picture. Anyway, this book is about Mommy going back to work. So the routine changes. Your routine is what you do every day. I get up in the morning, I get dressed, brush my teeth, go to school. See, it's your routine. And we get used to routines. Routines are not bad. Routines can be very good because you know how things are going to go. Well, now Mom is going to get up in the morning and get ready to go to work. This upset the routine. And it made Perry, I think she was probably a little bit afraid. And when our routines are upset, we do become afraid or nervous or mad or upset. And so she thought if she hid the shoes, that maybe Mommy wouldn't go to work. But they found their new routine, and it seemed to work just fine. So that was Mama's work shoes. And look what I did. I brought some shoes. How about those shoes, huh? Those are my get really dressed up and pretend I'm Cinderella shoes. And then I have some dancing shoes. I like to dance around the house. And these, see, they bend. These shoes. And how about it's summertime and I feel like wearing shoes that my toes will show. How about those shoes? Huh? They're fun. But these are my good old standby shoes. My zip shoes. You know, I can run in them. I don't run as much as I used to. I can walk in them. We're going to read another book. Library Day. You know how much the book lady likes the library. Well, I know you're going to love this book. Oh, there he is, walking into the library with his dad. On Saturday, I go to the library with my father. It's the first time we've been there together. Before we go inside, we drop the books he borrowed through the slot. I hear them thump in the bin when they land. I do that same thing. My father brings me to the children's room for story hour. He tells me he will go to the grown-up shelves to look for a new book. There are 2 boys and 3 girls sitting in a circle. I sit next to a boy who has on a green shirt. I've seen him at the playground. The librarian says hello and tells us her name is Mrs. Edmonds. Then she reads us the book, The 3 Sillies. I haven't read that book. After Mrs. Edmonds is done, she introduces Mr. Miguel. He reads us a story from his homeland of Puerto Rico. It's about a donkey named Senor Burro. We all listen quietly, except when we laugh. It's especially funny when Mr. Miguel goes, ee-haw, ee-haw, as loud as he can. When story hour is finished, the boy in the green shirt tells me his name is Jack, and I tell him mine is Dawn. Now we have time to look at all the cool things in the library. I thought there were just books here. But Jack shows me a shelf with movies and a rack with magazines in the corner. Ooh. Oh, I like the magazine about dogs because there's an article in it about a puppy who looks just like our dog, Reggie, did when he was a puppy. I also like a magazine about rabbits and chickens and farm animals. That would be fun to read. After I put the magazines back, I go to a low shelf filled with picture books. I take a book with a tiger on the front. Mr. Miguel shows me a book. He says, it looks like you like books about animals. Maybe you'd like this one. The boy in the book has a snake for a pet. Ooh. I show him the book about a big red truck. Well, I like this one too, I say. You can take them all home, Mr. Miguel says. Whoa. Next to the picture book bin, there is a baby sitting on the floor with lots of books to read, except the baby is reading her book upside down. She goes, goo, 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 ga, 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 ga. Then she turns the page, but her book is still upside down. I think she might be looking at the pictures. Jack has gone home, but I have time to explore. Across the room, some big boys and girls are playing chess quietly. A big boy is sitting at a computer. Two girls are making bookmarks. Do you know what a bookmark is? If you want to save the page that you're reading, you can put your bookmark in there, close it. When you come back, you go right to where you put the bookmark. I look through the 3 books again, and then the librarian's helper puts a new book on the shelf. It's about apples and pumpkins. Hey, I like apples. I like pumpkins. So I bet I'll like this book. Just then, my father comes into the children's room. I ask him if I can take out these 4 books. He says yes. And then he says, but you will need your own library card. My own library card? We walk to the front desk. We hand our books to Mrs. Edmonds. My father says that I would like my own card. Mrs. Edmonds smiles and says, I can see he's a real reader. 4 books. I tell her my full name and where I live. He tells her his name and address. We wait a few minutes while lights on her machine go on and off as it rumbles. Here you are, Don. She hands me a card with my own name written on the back. Mrs. Edmonds scans the barcodes on my books with her little green light and reminds me to return them in 2 weeks. Outside the door, there is a poster of a puppet show about the gingerbread man. My father reads it to me and asks, would you like to go see the puppet show next Saturday? I sure would. I take my father's hand as we cross the street and head home. Now let me show you the barcode. See all those little lines? That's called a barcode. And you know, barcodes are on just everything. If you bought a can of tomato soup, there's a barcode. If you buy a banana, there's a barcode. If you get a new bicycle, there's a barcode. That barcode has all kinds of information in it. Well, guess what I did? I brought something. It's one of my favorite things. I brought my library card. Do you see the barcode? And it has my name. Yes. I've used this a lot, so my name's not very clear there. But I love the library, and I hope that you will go to the library. And I'll tell you something. My library, in the children's section, is so much fun you don't want to leave. They have a puppet theater and a big basket of puppets, and you can just do a show if you want. The library is very different than it was many years ago. It used to be, shh, you could not talk. I was a little bit afraid of the library when I was a little girl. It really wasn't much fun. It was more scary because you just were so afraid you might make noise. Now, They don't want you to scream and yell like you're at recess, but you can certainly talk and have fun. The other thing, you can go talk to the librarian. The librarian is the person who works at the library. And they are not there just to check out your books. They are there to help you. You might go up to the library and say, I want to read a book about kites. Kites. And she, click, 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 she can go on her computer, find the books, and she will help you find the books about kites. Isn't that fun? When I was there the other day, there were kids sitting down all over the place just reading books out loud to themselves. One little girl was sitting with her grandmother, and they were reading a terrific book. When I go to the library, I'm by myself, and I just have so much fun looking at all the different books. I'll pull it out of the shelf and look, and I like to look at the pictures. So when I saw the name of this book, Library Day, I knew I had to bring it to you, because we talk about the library a lot, don't we? And yes, you can get movies there, and you can look at magazines. You could learn so much at the library. And I just think, like, here's an example. This is just a little baby, maybe 1.5 years old. And she's holding a book upside down, but there are toys for her to play with, and she is introducing herself to books. She's learning that books open. Yes, they open. And books close. And if you get yourself a library card and you have books, the first thing you do is you pull open the bin and you slide your books in. And they like you to slide the books with the spine. That's called the spine. Just like we have a spine right up our back. If you feel that bone along your back, this is the spine of the book. And they like you to pull it open and drop it in. Then I guess in the evening, somebody goes out and gets all those books out of that bin. So you have to return your books, but they let you have them for quite a long time. And you can read them over and over and over. And that's where I got this book, at the library. And I just, first thing I thought, what? Mama's work shoes? Of course, if Mama was a dancer, these would be her work shoes, right? Or if Mama was a gym teacher, some people call it physical education, that might be her work shoe. So it all depends on what your work is. She might wear work boots. I didn't bring all my boots, but we all have different kinds of shoes, and I thought you guys would get a kick out of this. But the important thing on this was that they had to create a new routine, and that isn't always easy. We sort of like to do things the way we do them. And we know on this day we do this, and this day we do this, and this day we do this. And when you have to change your routine, it can be a little uncomfortable. That means you don't really like it that much. But once you learn your new routine, it becomes a lot more comfortable. Your new routine can become your friend. And this story was about Mom and Perry getting into their new routine. Not always. Have you ever had a routine that you had to change? It's not real easy. but eventually you do it, and it's all right. Yeah. But what I really want you to do is see if you can go get yourself a library card. Now, you have to know your name, and you have to know your address. Your address is where you live. Maybe you live in an apartment and you have to know which number is your apartment. And then they will give you a library card. And it's an important card. I've had this card for a long time. So you hang on to your library card. And you also return your books. I wonder if they have shoes. My go to the library shoes. Do you have go to the library shoes? Anyway, I'm so glad that you stopped by to be with me. And remember, you can see more of the Book Lady on YouTube. Yeah, just tell your mother or father or your babysitter or your older brother or sister to go to YouTube and type in the Book Lady. And you will see so many different books. And some of them you will like very much. And some of them, it was okay. But it's all right. You need to read all kinds of books, because without reading all kinds of books, you don't know, you can't figure out what kind of book you like. You know? It's kind of like tasting food. I like that. Yeah, not so much. Well, it's the same thing. When you go to a restaurant and you have to pick what you want to eat, it's kind of like going to the library and you pick what you want to read. Here we go. See? And behind me, all those books. We've read all those books and more. Lots of things to learn, lots of illustrations. That's pictures to see. We've learned a lot. And I'm so glad that you are here with the Book Lady. And until next time, and I will bring you 2 books. You know, I found a book I really liked that I want to read to you, but I'm afraid it might be too long, but I know you'll really, really like it. So I'm going to try to read it really fast and bring it, because I want to do 2 books. I always do 2 books, and so I got to practice that book so I can do it fast for you. You will like it. Anyway, today we did make Mama's work shoes. Yeah, it's hard to read upside down. And Library Day. And I hope you carve out a little place in your routine to go to the library. Until next time, goodbye.